He's got work. So I have to hold this bad boy down solo for a little bit, but I am not complaining. As you can see, I was on my promise. I changed the banner. Oh, wrong finger. Bad finger. There you go. I changed the banner. It is now Yankees up. And as you see, I got the WWE O-Wing Eagle belt hanging on the side because it is WrestleMania, ladies and gentlemen. WrestleMania, as a matter of fact, starts in the next couple of hours, which is about as how long as I'm going to be on this show today. But WrestleMania is here. They're doing the two-nighter again, but according to one of my homies, Phil, there may not even be a WrestleMania tonight. According to the weather report, it's a huge storm making its way towards Tampa, and around 6-7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, it looks like the heavens will open up. So let's see what happens with that. I'm praying that doesn't happen because I can't do a 6-hour WrestleMania. I just can't. I can't. Phil says maybe it'll start in a couple hours. We'll see, man. Let's keep an eye out on it. I had a couple of friends to say they're down there. They say it's like 80 and it's humid. But that weather report that you sent me earlier made it look like it's going to really come down. So hopefully there'll be a WrestleMania tonight. Cause 6 hours of watching the WWE to me is insanity. And I don't understand how all of a sudden WrestleManias went from 3 hours back in the day to 6 hours now, and think about it. That's even included the national anthem and God Bless America and all the pregame shenanigans that comes with WrestleMania. Usually these matches are these things are 3.5 hours max. Flipping WrestleMania a few years ago was 6 hours long. And I think I want to say that was when Kofi won the title. I want to say, and it sucked because I'm glad Kofi, they finally put the title on Kofi. But bro, by the time Daniel Bryan wrestled Kofi Kingston, man, I'm ready to go to bed. Man, 7 or 6 hours of a show. And a lot of that is because they do a lot of the entertainment stuff. Think about it. You got a match between The Miz and John Morrison against Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. And Bad Bunny's a 24/7 champion. And I don't know. I'm not against entertainers being in wrestling. I'm against entertainers holding belts to an extent. I know the 24/7 title is supposed to be a gimmick title, but we've seen this entertainers winning belts movie before when the almighty David Arquette won the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. One of the, if not the biggest mistake that WCW ever did was put the title on David Arquette so he could promote his little wrestling movie, King's Ransom or King something. I forget what it was called, but straight up nonsense. But we'll get into that later too. Major League Baseball season's kicked off. The Yankees lost to the Rays again today. The Rays just right now owning the Yankees in every aspect of the game. And it's so funny watching when the Yankees lose, you get these knucklehead fans that come out and Boone needs to be fired and Brian Cashman needs to be fired and this and that. And the only two big takeaways from these first few games for the New York Yankees that I think that if they just do a minor tweak, they'll be fine, is at some point the approach at the plate for the New York Yankees has got to change. You know what I'm saying? These guys can't, think about it. You can't have 9 people in a lineup, at least 8 of them hitting for home runs. Somebody has to give. No offense, Gleyber Torres, love him. I know he hit, 30-some home runs one year, and 20 of them came against the Orioles because he was so locked in. But the Yankees don't need you to hit 30 home runs, bro. How about you hit a few doubles here and there? Stop over swinging at every pitch. That's why he pops every pitch up, because the man is going for the fences. Same with Giancarlo Stanton is another one. I love Giancarlo to death. I love him to death. But at the same time, dude, it's like, bro, different approach. He did it yesterday. Hold right side open, and he found a pitch that he can go to the right side. Dude, do that more often. It's crazy. I think Aaron Judge, David Cohn said something, or not David Cohn, but John Flaherty said something earlier that I thought was interesting when Michael Kay asked him, do you think that Aaron Judge could be a top 5 player in the league? And John Flaherty said, yes. The only thing that kills Aaron Judge is his health. The man runs well. The man hits well when he's not swinging at dumbass pitches, and he plays a really good right field. It's just he can't stay healthy. The man's he's already missed 2 games. The man's missed at least 40 games, 1 year. I think he missed like 30 games last year. So it's all about staying healthy. But all the Yankees just need to do is just change the approach at the plate. And the Domingo Germán experiment needs to come to an end. Domingo just doesn't have it. With everything that's going on, like you come off an 18-win season, and then right in the midst of you coming in next year, the whole domestic dispute happens. The Yankees tell you to figure that out. It's crazy to me. It's just crazy to me. He came out again today and gave up basically all 4 runs today? Like, come on, dude. Bring in that kid. What's the kid's name? Michael King. Bring him in. Let him pitch. When he filled in for Domingo in that game they lost against Toronto in the Yankees' first series, Michael King came out and stopped whatever bleeding was going on and really pitched 6 wonderful innings in relief of Domingo Germán. So why not bring Michael King in if you bring out Domingo for one more start and he sucks like he did today, at the end of the day, you need to bring in Michael King, or you need to bring in Davy Garcia, or you need to bring in something else. Because the one thing that pisses me off about the Yankees so much is that we collect all this young homegrown talent, but we won't play anybody. The Yankees obviously did not go out and spend big free agent money to bring in any big free agent pitchers. They traded for Jameson Taillon, who's coming off of 2 Tommy John surgeries, and for what it's worth, did not look all that bad in his matchup against the Orioles the other day. And then you got... you brought in Corey Kluber, who's coming off some shoulder tendonitis and missed all of last year. And even though he looked bad yesterday, he actually did look too bad in his first start. So that's my thing. I think the Yankees pitching is going to be fine. Right now, the Rays are just locked in against New York for whatever reason. I don't think that the pitching is the problem. I just think the Yankees need to have a better approach when it comes. Like today, you send down Tyler Wade. Why? Tyler Wade is the speed on the bases the Yankees don't have. And people are like, well, Tyler Wade can't hit. Tyler Wade can't hit. You can't have Tyler Wade only hit 1 out of 10 games and expect the man to come out and be 4 for 4. He has no consistent at bats. If you go back a couple years ago when they had Tyler Wade playing a lot of left field because I think Gardner got hurt or somebody got hurt, that first game against the Angels, he was bad, but he finished in those last 2 games like 6 for 10 or 7 for 11 because now he was in a rhythm and he was giving the Angels so many fits. That's what's wrong with the Yankees. That's another approach the Yankees got to get on. Get these young guys on flipping base and let them run. Talkman needs to run. Brett, even though he's older, can still run. Glaber should be running. Everyone should not be up there trying to hit 500-foot home runs. So, all this Boo needs to be fired, Cashman needs to be fired are a bunch of just, hot take Yankee fans talking crazy. No way am I going to fire a guy who's won 203 games over the last 2 years. It's still a learning experience right now for Aaron Boone, but I think this year he's going to get talked about a lot. There's going to be a lot of, because, the Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009. And, this is the longest drought in a long time and this and that and everything else. But, we brought in a brand new manager who I think at this is the year that Aaron Boone's got to put it together. But I'm not saying we need to fire the man. 8 games into 162 game season, dude, sit down somewhere. Unreal. What up, Darnell? Will, what's going on? Will says give Domingo a couple of months, end of June, then you can say send him down. Derek says this team won't make the World Series. Again, that's another hot take Yankee crap. I don't believe that. I think the Yankees can. You just got to figure some things out. Dude, we're only 8 games in the season. Like, what did you think the Yankees were going to do? Come out of the gate and go, like, 8-0? No, I didn't. No one expected that, especially with Domingo on the mound. Here's what I do know. I do know that I expect Jordan Montgomery to have a pretty solid. I'm telling you, Jordan Montgomery is the absolute truth. Jordan Montgomery is going to be really good. And I thought the way he pitched against the Rays in game 4 of the ALDS last year was phenomenal. And that game he had against the Orioles last week was phenomenal too. So I'm anxious to see Jordan Montgomery go tomorrow. And no telling who the Rays are going to bring up. Might be they're already doing the starter bullpen that starter nonsense or whatever that is. So shout out to Darnell. Will says the season just started and they won't make the World Series. The season's a couple weeks old. MLB The Show hasn't even been released yet. Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. If you see this crap that I see in some of these Yankee groups and these guys just flying off the handles because the Yankees lost 1 game in the first week of what is a long marathon of a season. And I mean, these Yankee fans are, oh my God, Brian. Oh, here's a good one. This is my favorite. I read this one today and I'm so glad one of the Yankee guys is in this group is in here. Theo Epstein should take over for Brian Cashman. Yeah, because the Chicago Cubs right now are in a great state of baseball right now, are they? You mean the same guy that traded Gleyber Torres, your top prospect, for a rental player? You mean the same guy that traded Eloy Jimenez, who, even though he's hurt, is still one of the better young guys in the league, for Jose Quintana, all because he had a couple of years on his of control on his contract, and now Jose Quintana, I don't even think is even with the Cubs anymore. So yeah, let's bring in Theo Epstein so he can cripple the Yankees while we continue to do. I'm telling you, the moronic statements are unflipping real, and we're not even 2 weeks into the season. MLB The Show did make the way over to Xbox. I saw that. Now I'm kind of torn on which system to get it on. I don't know if I want to get it this year's on, because I need to get MLB The Show. I haven't played in a couple years. I'm slacking, but this time, I've been stepping my video games up. Thank you, Will. Will said, get the hell out of here. F Theo. No Red Sox in a Yankee uniform. Easily, bro. Dude, Theo Epstein, in my opinion, is overrated. Yeah, he got the Cubs a World Series, but at what cost? What's the cost? Stan says, yeah, Jose Quintana's with the Angels. So basically, the Cubs have nothing to show for trading one of their best prospects, in which was Eloy Jimenez, who more or less took Major League Baseball by storm last year, but he definitely put some folks on notice. Wait till he gets healthy. I'm telling you right now. Wait till Eloy Jimenez gets healthy. It's a wrap. I'm telling you, it's going to be a wrap. The White Sox are going through some woes too. But I think the White Sox problem is it's not the talent. Tony La Russa hasn't been in baseball in how long? It's going to take him a minute to get back up to speed. Like, spring training's not the same. You know what I'm saying? Nick, step your Call of Duty game up. What's the most recent Call of Duty that's out? Whatever the most recent, I'm not sure. Yeah, I do need to step my game up too on that. You're right about that. As a matter of fact, I have to replace a piece on my wireless headphones because I lost the USB piece to connect to it, but I see that they actually sell those separate from the headphones that I got. So I got to get some. But I'm going to get some, though. Don't tweak. I'm going to get some. It's going to be okay. I'm going to get some. All right. But yeah, dude, the White Sox are going through some bullpen woes, and I think they're going to figure it out. You know, what was today? Jacob deGrom came out today and pitched a 8-inning masterpiece, but I think took the loss because the Mets bats were quiet. You know, it's the first 2 weeks of the season, man. You know, I'm right now, I'm just trying to get a feel on what everybody can do. I'm trying to get a feel on, you know, I see that Garrett Cole, in my opinion, pitches better with Higashioka than he does with Gary Sanchez. Okay, so then that means that Higashioka is just going to have to be the personal catcher for the best pitcher in New York, period. Okay, I love Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom is great and everything. He doesn't wear pinstripes. He's not Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole is that G. Can't tell me nothing. Okay? So Garrett Cole, it will forever be the best pitcher in New York. Needs his personal guy. It needs to be Higashioka. Okay? It's all about the feels. You know, Will says give Domingo a couple of months. I'm going to give Domingo a couple of starts. Okay? You know, a couple of months is too long. Like if he goes out and he's 0-6 by May, you know, you should have taken him out by April. So I'll give it till May. I'll give you a month. I'll meet you halfway. Okay, Will? Well, I'll meet you halfway. I'll meet you till May. Okay, like Cinco de Mayo. I'll take you to the 5th of May, whatever that first weekend is of May. I'll take you to then. If Domingo is not better than them, either we bringing up Davey or Michael King needs to start and Domingo needs to go into bullpen. That's all that is. That's the only thing. We can't say anything else. That's really it. So, well, the Yankees will figure it out. You know, I mean, it's been some exciting stuff. What's the kid last night? Joe Musgrove for the San Diego Padres threw a no-hitter in Texas the other day, and there was a lot of people in there to see it. You know, the Texas Rangers already said that they're going 100% capacity after Governor Abbott lifted the ban of social distancing down here in Texas, said these places open up 100%. I'm not sure if Houston's doing it or not. I just know that they'll be open by the time the Yankees come to town, and Minute Maid Park is every bit of 15 minutes from my house. You know, that's one of the good things about where I stay at down here in Houston. Between Minute Maid Park, NRG Stadium, between those two, I can tell you factuals, they are at least 15 minutes from my house in separate directions. Okay? I can tell you that. I haven't been to the Toyota Center yet. I haven't even passed the Toyota Center yet. Or maybe I have and I just haven't paid attention to it. But when I get over there, I'll figure out how far it is. But I'm letting you know when the Yankees come to town in Houston. I might even go when the White Sox come to town in Houston. The White Sox come in like late May. The Yankees come in like mid-July. So maybe I'll go check them out when they're here in maybe when the White Sox come. I'll come and see what the park is talking about. Because I haven't been in it yet for obvious reasons, but we'll see what they're talking about. Phil says Warzone. It's the most recent one. Is that the one did I just flip? I just flipped one. Maybe it was Warzone. I do have it. I have it on Xbox. I just haven't been on it in a long time because I was always playing by myself. So, you know, everyone else plays like the Warzone or you know, whatever the famous online thing is. I'm very old school with it. I'm always playing hardcore, kill confirmed or hardcore. I don't play regular core on any of these Call of Duties. The fact that I have to empty out almost half a clip of a magazine on my MP5 and I hit you 4 times and you still didn't go down, I just don't appreciate that, dude. I will take a little bit of camping any day before I take that I have to shoot you 3 times with a Desert Eagle for you to go down on regular core on on Call of Duty. Forget that, dude. People that play regular core on Call of Duty are people who put ketchup on their hot dogs, and you don't put ketchup on hot dogs. And I'm just insinuating that you should not play regular core on Call of Duty. It's lame. It's lame. It's like for 5-year-olds. It's lame. It's lame. I know people be like, "Oh my God, Nick, you're crazy. You know, it's too much camping and hardcore." Man, dude, that's why you got to go another way or something. You got to come up with a game plan. I'm telling you, man, being a sniper on hardcore, if you find the right spot and you have the right perks, you are untouchable. Untouchable. So Warzone is the most recent one that came out. I got it. I have it. Now I got to ask myself another millennial problem. Am I going to get to show on the PS4? Which, by the way, I feel like I'm close to beating this God of War, the most recent God of War. And this game is actually pretty flipping awesome if we're going to be real about it. The only thing that stinks is I'm trying to go back so I can start improving some of my guys. Like, okay, like I feel like I can improve my Latvian axe. I'm at level 7, but then I try to go to. I'm going on video game talk here real quick, so just bear with me here, okay? Because this is a passionate thing going on right now. Because what do you think I was doing before I came on to the show? Okay, I had to quickly get a couple of good levels in, see where I'm at. But I need to go back because I need to go to Musaheim so I can improve my Blades of Chaos. I need to find the little dwarfs because I got the Chaos Flame now. So I need to go back. I need to go to the other realms and flip that. So then when I go and face what's his name, once I beat the game, I just beat the game. It's over with. Phil said there's COD Modern Warfare and COD Cold War that ties into Warzone. Maybe Modern Warfare is the one that maybe Modern Warfare is the one I'm playing. Darnell said, "Oh yeah," and then I was listening to the WrestleMania preview show on Pipe Bomb Radio earlier. I was listening to the show. I was. And then I had to go and get my notes ready, and then I had to bust a couple of levels. So you know how that is. But the show was great. I'm not gonna lie, the show was great. You guys, a lot of stuff that Ricky said on the show, I really agreed with. And I thought what he said about the Miz, I completely agree with. I am not happy with what the WWE did with the Miz. I think what they did with the Miz was terrible. You're trying to tell me the same Miz that just got done a few years ago headlining WrestleMania can't do it again? Like, you were that quick to put the title on Bobby Lashley and then bring back in Drew McIntyre. As a matter of fact, I was on Twitter the other day, and I thought that one of the greatest points about Drew McIntyre was brought up. Drew McIntyre is not a face. He's not. Drew's best work is when Drew is heel. When Drew was a socio-psychopath when he first came back, that's when I knew that Drew McIntyre was ready to be WWE champion. Not this face Drew that's trying to talk with the crowd, and he's trying to be funny on the mic with the guys, and then his jokes don't go over, and now we're trying to put Drew right on back over. Dude, you could have given Drew McIntyre, I don't know, SummerSlam to maybe come back for the title, because if Bobby Lashley, first of all, this is where I thought the WWE totally dropped the ball, and okay, They dropped the ball with Miz and Lashley, but they're doing it the right way, in my opinion, with Randy Orton and The Fiend. One of the things that I've always complained about with the WWE is they don't develop the story long enough. Like, you'll get it through 2 pay-per-views, and then once 2 pay-per-views are done with and over with, you know, you go to a whole nother story. That's why when people are like, "Oh my God, I'm so tired of Randy Orton and The Fiend," I don't know how. I think they did it the smart way. You burn the Fiend, you let the Fiend get off on TV, you let the audience miss him, but you keep him relevant. How? When you take Alexa Bliss and make her Sister Abigail and make her in the loop, and then when you're ready to bring the Fiend back right after Fastlane, the way that they did it, now you can even build the story up more, so now you can end the whole feud at WrestleMania. That is the way to go. That's what made the mega powers collide between the Macho Man and Hulk Hogan. You got to remember that feud started damn near 2 weeks after WrestleMania 4. So you had that whole feud between Hogan and Savage really brewing up throughout the years. And that's when there was only 4 pay-per-views. And you let that brew out so that when the Macho Man faced Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 5, it was what was going to end the feud because they had been feuding for so long. And you dropped the ball with that with The Miz and Bobby Lashley, in the sense of, if Bobby Lashley and The Miz made that deal, you let The Miz, who is a clear, great heel champion, have to avoid Bobby Lashley at all costs until he is forced to wrestle him at WrestleMania, and let The Miz do what The Miz did best, and he actually headlined and did a great job in WrestleMania. You're going to tell me he can't get himself another chance? I call BS. And I think the WWE dropped the ball, because now instead, so it's like The Miz won the title, but then Lashley just came in and just cashed in his chance like super quick. Nah, man. Like, you're giving all this congratulations to Bobby Lashley and this and that, but The Miz didn't get no rematch. And then, or actually he did, but Drew's waiting for his rematch to wrestle. It just doesn't make sense. You could have built this up, and now last week on Monday night, you know what would have been a great idea? How about you have The Miz, or have Bobby Lashley, or MVP, because Bobby Lashley, I still don't think it's that great cut promos, but one of those two from them somehow cut a killer promo on The Miz, warning The Miz that his time is up at WrestleMania, and let Bobby Lashley dominate The Miz at WrestleMania. Then you can make The Miz the king of the mountain, and then in 2 weeks make him try to be relevant mid-card against Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. Really? That's what you're giving? You're giving us John Morrison and The Miz, who, even though I like them both, and I really like The Miz more than I like John Morrison, their time was together was way before. Like, when John Morrison came back, was anyone chomping at the bit like, oh my God, guys, here's John Morrison. I cannot believe he's back. Oh my God. Like, just getting wood because John Morrison came back? No. Hell no. No. So this match to me makes no sense. When I was listening to the WrestleMania pre-show on PodRiver Radio, I was saying to myself, well, who made the point? I just lost my train of thought. There was something, you guys, it's gonna come back to me in a sec, but there was something that they said on that show. Dude, that show, when the little hour or so that I listened to it, I mean, it was just all great points. It was all great points. Oh, I know what it was. When you had Bad Bunny come out like a few months ago to do that song with called Booker T, and then you just had Booker T standing there looking like an idiot, just swole with the vest on, and then he's going after The Miz, and then Booker T's, the next time you see Booker T, he's on the pregame show on the bump in a suit. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Darnell, yes, let me know what time. Hey, and speaking of which, I apologize to anybody that's been hitting me up on my instant messenger. For some reason, my dumb big head ass Android phone, the bubbles don't come up in my messenger anymore, so I don't see them immediately like I used to. So I got to figure out what's going on with that. Because sometimes I get so many notifications on my phone that I clear everything. And then But usually when I like using the messenger more than I like using the actual texting phone numbers. I don't know why. It's just what I'm used to. The bubbles don't pop up, so I see whose head is there. So if I clear it out and I didn't see you left a message, I'm not going to think, because I don't actually check the messenger itself. I just see if the heads popped up. So I got to figure that out. But yeah, no, dude, you let me know what time. I'll be more than happy to try and join the show tomorrow. So WrestleMania is gonna be, and then you know what you guys were also talking about today that I wanted to echo on was because this was kind of the last thing I heard before I had to step away, was talking about the New Day versus AJ and the Bodyguard. I don't know how I feel about the Bodyguard. I think the couple times that I've seen him in, I can't think of his name, it's blanking me right now, but for whatever reason, like the few times that I've seen him work, I'm just not impressed. Like when he choke slammed a few weeks back, when he had choke slammed Xavier Woods through the table, I'm like, dude, you should have dropped him 15 seconds ago. Okay, we got it. He's in the air. Okay, we get it. Yeah, almost right. Almost. Maybe my opinion will change. I think it's tonight. Their match is tonight. Maybe my opinion will change tonight. Well, let's see. We'll see. But I don't know if you guys peeped my comment. But when I think it was Chris or Alex was talking about the New Day and how much they were a fan of the New Day and how much that Big E is getting a singles run, especially with the Intercontinental Championship. Let me say this. I think Kofi, what the New Day did with Kofi Kingston, I think they're going to do with Big E. And I think they're doing what I thought used to be the WWE process, which was, okay, we're going to put the Intercontinental title strap on you, okay? Let me see how you can work with this Intercontinental title strap. And then once we give you the IC belt, we'll see how you're coming up, and then we'll see if we're ready to give you the Universal Championship. And I think Big E has done a really good job as Intercontinental Champion so far. That it wouldn't shock me that. So this is WrestleMania. I wouldn't say SummerSlam. I think that's too soon. Maybe a pay-per-view between SummerSlam and the Royal Rumble. Not the Royal Rumble, the Survivor Series. Maybe somewhere in there you'll see Big E become Universal Champ. But Phil says, I was a fan of New Day, but now it's getting old, and Big E as a heel needs to happen soon. I don't know if I agree with that second part. I don't know. They tried Big E as a heel before, and it really didn't work. So trying to make Big E, see, you could do that with Roman Reigns, okay? Because I think people were getting tired of Roman Reigns per se, and now Roman Reigns, based on, I just want to say, like, based on who Roman Reigns, like the way he talks, the way he carries himself, the way he's in the ring, the way he is now as a heel is definitely something that should have happened a couple years ago. I think I've said this on this show before, that I think Roman Reigns is almost 2 years too late in his, not just him being Universal Champion. I'm just talking about him and his career as a whole has been 2 years too late. Phil says, at least get Big E away from the New Day. To be honest with you, dude, if there's one guy that I could do without on the New Day, is Xavier Woods. Will says Big E isn't a heel. He's a natural, good, and nice person. Roman Reigns is a D, and he's perfect to be a heel. I agree 100% with that statement, Will. That is exactly how I feel. I don't feel Big E is a heel. I don't. I just don't buy it. If you change Big E into a heel, I wouldn't watch it because I wouldn't buy him being a heel. Roman Reigns, other hand, though, is more believable of a heel. And again, this little heel run that he's doing with the Universal Championship, I think has been, Darnell just said, it has been enjoyable to watch. As a matter of fact, I will almost venture to say that I will root for Roman Reigns to come out as Universal Champion after WrestleMania, because maybe then you do push Big E. Because if you push Big E right now as a face to face Roman Reigns as a heel, I'll tell you what, I bet you that match is super over. I bet you it's over, because it's the classic face versus heel match. You know, you don't really do that anymore nowadays, but it's a classic face versus heel match. But I'm with it. I don't know. I don't like Big E. You know, if we were talking, if we're talking about this 2.5 years ago and we were talking Roman Reigns, I'd have been like, okay, yeah, I can see Roman Reigns as a heel. It's believable. Let's run with it and see what's going on. Big E, at where he's at right now, nah. Because we said the same MO with John Cena, but I just think the problem is, what John Cena, if you want to be real about it, John Cena and who was I just talking about? And Big E are almost in the same boat. Look at it like this. When John Cena really started coming into his own, when he was doing all the Thug Life and Word Life and the freestyles, and he was a heel and all that other stuff. But once he became a face, there was no way making John Cena a heel. Just by the way the WWE operates, there was no way you were going to make him into a heel. I think now, with the way, I think Big E went down the same path, where when Big E was with Dolph Ziggler, he was a heel, and they tried that for a little while. Then they slowly made him up to a face. Now that the New Day is still hot for what it's worth, you can't make Big E a heel. You have to keep him as a face. So I don't think from a Big E personality perspective, I don't think you can. And just by the way he's so over and loved by the kids of the WWE universe, that heel turn is not going to happen. Roman Reigns made sense because this is the same guy who came in as the 30th entry in a Royal Rumble, and the entire WWE universe booed the piss out of him. That's how you knew it was time to make him a heel. Will says most wrestlers are supposed to be themselves with the volume at max. That's why Roman is fired and Big E is fired. Exactly, dude. And that's why I'm saying that I think that, okay, this is what I would say. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Big E defending the IC title at WrestleMania this weekend? Because I think he is. If he is, he should drop that title. He should drop the IC. He should go. Think about it, dude. Think about it. Let's just go into the Attitude Era, because my thought process works better in the Attitude Era than it does in the Golden Era. First off, I want to thank everybody that's watching the show right now, and that's bearing with me with this wrestling talk. I know we don't talk a lot of wrestling in here as much, and I'm not just doing it because Mack's not here. If he was here, we would still be talking about it because WrestleMania is here. But thank God for all you guys interacting with me right now, dude. I'm like full of energy and whatnot. So let's just keep this rolling, dude. You guys are doing a great job so far, and I want to say thank you to everyone that's watching right now. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching here on Facebook, whatever the case is, if you're listening, I just want to say thank you so much. But Darnell just told me that he's okay, bingo. All right, so hear me out. Big E should drop the Intercontinental title to Apollo Crews. Then you need to somehow hype up Big E versus Roman, because Will right now, everyone's comments is on fire. All your comments are great, but Will's comments right now are just hitting my heart because we're in the same boat. If the WWE doesn't drop the ball on this, Roman Reigns versus Big E has the potential to be one of the better heavyweight championship matches in the world. Because what my point was before I thanked everybody was, when we were in the Golden Era, if you think about, if we could just hit the rewind button and go back to the golden era, there were really no intercontinental champions per se that became heavyweight champions unless your name is Pedro Morales back in the day and the Macho Man Randy Savage. And that's why I will forever say that the Macho Man Randy Savage is the greatest wrestler that ever lived. First of all, I think Randy Savage really utilized what is now a lot of aerial off the top moves. You know, some people say, well, Nick, what about Ricky Steamboat? Now, Ricky Steamboat was more technical. His signature move came off the top rope, but he didn't really do a lot of other moves from the top rope. Macho Man had a few arsenal in his repertoire that made him need to come off the top rope. But the Intercontinental title setting up to the heavyweight championship didn't really come to face until the Macho Man Randy Savage did it. Then Bret Hart perfected it. And then as time went on, that was the precedent. Stone Cold was an IC champ before a heavyweight champ. The Rock was an IC champ before a heavyweight champ. Chris Jericho was an IC champ before he became champ. Jeff Hardy was an IC champ before he went heavyweight champ. There was Triple H was an IC champ. Randy Orton was an IC champ. Chris Benoit was an IC. I could do this all day. Eddie Guerrero was the Attitude Era. Let people know that the Intercontinental Championship, see, in the golden era of the Intercontinental Championship, if we're going to be real about it, was the heavyweight title for the mid-carders. If you weren't Hogan, or if you weren't Macho, or if you weren't the Ultimate Warrior, IC champ to heavyweight champ. If you weren't, I'm trying to think, because I mean, basically, it was basically Hogan. So think about it. What's the number one question we always ask when it comes to the golden age? Who should have had a heavyweight championship run that didn't have it? Let's name some of the names: Mr. Perfect, Rick Rude, maybe the Texas Tornado. I don't know, because by the time Kerry Von Erich came into the WWE, that's kind of when he came in with that foot injury. And then they took the title off him. And then that's when he had the motorcycle accident. And then I know that, you know, he was kind of up and down with the drug problems before he took his own life. But like, maybe you could throw him. But Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect are usually the two names that usually always come up. And then Bret Hart kind of broke that trend. And I mean, again, I could name names all day. But at the end of the day, you know, we somewhere lost light of letting guys try to get over with the Intercontinental title to build them up to be in heavyweight championship status. And I think you could rectify that with Big E, because, and I said this on the pregame show, with the WWE network now being on Peacock Premium, something tells me that NBC is going to be in the WWE's ear and saying like, hey, look, you know, first off, I know that Peacock, okay, this is a whole nother rant right here, but it's all going to tie in. So just bear with me, okay? I understand what Peacock is doing, and I can get what they're doing by taking a lot of stuff out of the WWE network. But somebody has to answer to a lot of the things that they're taking out that made what wrestling is today. Does that make sense? So for instance, I guess I'm gonna come off as a hypocrite, and I've called myself that many a times on this show. I've said that a lot of times on this show, but A lot of the stuff they're taking out during the Attitude Era is what made the Attitude Era the Attitude Era. You get what I'm saying? My fellow Yankee sister Evelise is on. AV, what up, though? You know what I'm saying? And think about it like this. I'm pretty sure a lot of the bra and panty matches, or what was the one match where the girls were in some kind of like bikini wet wrestling contest in a pool or something like that. I forget what it was. And what it ultimately happened was the cat won the women's championship and she exposed herself. Dude, it was that stuff that made the Attitude Era the Attitude Era. So, and like, cause for instance, one of my favorite WrestleManias is WrestleMania 6. And we know that Roddy Piper wrestled Bad News Brown. And for some odd reason, Roddy Piper came out half black and half white. And I remember listening to a shoot interview with Bad News Brown where he said he was actually kind of offended, but he was like, that's just Roddy being Roddy, and I just moved on with it. And Peacock is cleaning a lot of that stuff up. But it's just my thing is that you have to be careful, man, because that's what made the Attitude Era that like I understand why they took out the DX Nation segment, because what was it? X-Pac came out in blackface to Mark Henry. I understand why you want to take that out, but that's not going to change me to think that that was arguably one of the funnier segments because at the time, as I'm looking at it, I say to myself, when you're a kid and it's just DX being stupid towards the I keep saying the NWO, DX towards the Nation of Domination, and you're like, man, this is hilarious. They're making fun of them, this and that, everything else, blah, blah, blah. But now with the sensitivity that the world is at, it's like, I get it. I understand this and that. It just puts me on the limbo, dude, because I'm the same guy that sit here and I'm like, look, I know everyone's upset about Pepe Le Pew and cancer culture getting rid of Pepe Le Pew and this and that. And yeah, he was kind of, aggressive towards girls that didn't want it. And that's usually sexual assault sometimes by definition. So you got to take it out. But, when you were a kid, like you didn't know. And you come like it's mind-boggling. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. It's mind-boggling. But again, where I get upset is I wish that the WWE Network would have had two options. Either I could just go to Peacock Premium and get the stuff on there. If I want the extra content, I can cancel my subscription over here and just go to Peacock and get it there. Or I could just keep the WWE Network for what I have. You know what I'm saying? And that's my. Hold on. Did I freeze? Did I freeze up? Did I freeze up? I think I froze up. Uh-oh. They're saying there's something wrong with my internet connection. No. Hold on a second, guys. Stick with me. I think we're gonna be okay. We'll be okay. All right. I see myself moving. My fault, dude. I'm looking at myself right here talking, and I saw myself froze, and I was like, "Oh no, what happened?" I'm good. Okay. Thank you, boss. Thank you. Woo. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying it's because. For those who are friends on my Facebook, I was like, hey, man, look, cancer culture, you got to do what you want to do. But if you touch the Boondocks, we're going to be upset. I should have said if you touch the WWE, I'm going to be a little upset too. And I kind of am, dude. But then I just went, I already had the Peacock stuff. I just didn't have the premium. So and they were trying to sell it to me for $250 a month. So whatever, I'll pay $250 for Peacock Premium, I guess. And I'll just rock with it, as I go along. But at the same time, it's kind of like, Darnell said Vince didn't want to keep the network, which is insane, dude. It's insanity, man. It's insanity. If you didn't want to keep it, don't take it to a network that was going to clean it up, though, man. Like, come on, dude. That's all I'm saying. But I'm like, look, at the end of the day, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I cannot believe I can't see the DX Nation of Domination impression. Oh my God, America is becoming soft. It's becoming soft as clouds in the sky. I'm not going to fret over the place. It's not like you can't go on YouTube and see the same. If you really want to watch Roddy Piper take on Bad News Brown, you know, which I mean, it was an okay match. It's not like we're talking about Roddy Piper versus Bad News Brown being some top 5 of all time match, and I can't believe that Peacock would take it out because no, it's not really that serious. It's not. So if you really want to watch DX impersonate the Nation of Domination, just go on just go on YouTube and watch it. That's why it's there. I got a lot of comments. Kent Williams, big time Kent Williams. Does Steamboat's career suffer due to the lack of title runs? Absolutely not. Because, okay, so this is why I say no. It's the argument that we had on this show when Khabib beat Justin Gaethje, and everyone's considering Khabib to be the greatest of all time, and John Bones Jones, in typical bitch John Bones Jones ways, the ways that he does it, came out and complained and say he doesn't have as many title defenses as I do. So how can he be greater than me? And my thing with that was I looked at quality over quantity. Khabib and his title defenses have been more convincing than the last 5 fights that John Bones Jones has had. And if you think I'm lying, you look at the last 5 fights Khabib has had, take a look at the last 5 fights John Bones Jones has had. In at least 3 of John Bone Jones's fights, he has had to explain to the crowd who didn't think that he won those fights how he won those fights, especially in his last fight against Dominic Reyes, when he grabbed the mic and said, but guys, I had a lot of takedowns, guys, I had a lot of takedowns. You know, you can't sue me on my takedowns. That's why I won the match. You shouldn't have to explain to anybody. If we thought you won, we would have cheered when you won. You didn't win that fight. And that's what I feel about Ricky Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat didn't have a lot of championship runs, but he was a great champion when he was. When him and Ric Flair have had some of the best matches that have ever been in. You know, people's be like, oh, Ric Flair had the same X amount of moves, this and that. But, you know, that's just sometimes, like, some people are absolutely correct on that. And I just think some people are just grade A haters. Because at the end of the day, no offense, dude, Ric Flair in some of his matches were actually really good. Like, think about it. And this is going to come off crazy coming out of my mouth. But that match that Ric Flair had against Vader, when Ric Flair beat Vader for the WCW Heavyweight Championship in North Carolina, was actually really good. I thought that was something, because think about it. Vader has always been stiff. Okay. What's his name is Vader has notoriously been stiff, but I thought that the way that he wrestled Ric Flair, he didn't seem as stiff. When he wrestles Cactus Jack, stiff as hell. Sting, stiff as hell. Ron Simmons, stiff as hell. But for some reason against Ric Flair, he wasn't stiff. And that match was great. So, you know, people are like, oh, Ric Flair's best moves were you run him into the turnbuckles, he flips over the turnbuckles, he goes up on the top, you try and hit him with the WWF axe handle, you punch him in the gut. You know, kind of like some Mike Tyson's punch out type of stuff, basically. You know what I'm saying? But you give me that one instance, but you can't sit here and tell me you watch Ric Flair go against Ricky Steamboat for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship and couldn't tell me that wasn't a great match. When Ricky Steamboat was the Intercontinental Champion, or excuse me, when he wrestled the Macho Man at WrestleMania 3, it is considered one of, if not the greatest match ever. So it's quality over quantity. So no, I think what makes Ricky Steamboat so great was that with the title runs that he had, he made most of them. And that's why I have so much respect for Ricky Steamboat. He said Austin threw that belt in the river. He did towards the end of that Rock Stone Cold feud. Remember, correct me if I'm wrong, The Rock actually threw the Intercontinental Championship in the river the first time when they were feuding. And then when Stone Cold said I had bigger fish to fry, so Rocky, I'm giving you the Intercontinental title, he threw it in the river again and made The Rock go back and get it. Those were the days. Will says, put Big E with Paul Heyman at Survivor Series. Big E is the sole survivor of Roman Reigns' team. Then Big E wins the Rumble and Big E against Reigns at WrestleMania. All for that, bro. Will, all for that. See, we right here, brother. We're right there. I agree. I like that. And it gives you a whole year to marinate and get Big E to exactly where you want him to be at. If there's anyone in the WWE that could follow in the shadows of Big E, it could be Keith Lee. If Keith Lee followed in the footsteps of Big E and learned under Big E, maybe I wouldn't hate on Keith Lee so much. But I'm still not. I know he hasn't been wrestling in a while. I'm just not a fan. I still look at that wrestling match he had against Karrion Kross when Karrion Kross separated his shoulder to win the NXT championship the first time. Boy, Keith Lee, he was just stiff. He was stiff. He wasn't selling anything. It just wasn't a believable match. It just wasn't. Ken also said that the United States champ was the same significance on WCW. Hey, that's huge facts. Luger, Sting, Scott Steiner later on, Booker T later on, Diamond Dallas Page, Goldberg. So you're right. You're absolutely right. The United States Championship was the same way. It was the same way. The same way. I'm just catching up with everybody right here. All right. So Darnell said Flair called Steamboat his greatest opponent. He did. And he did that Darnell, I don't know if you ever got the DVD, like the Ric Flair triple DVD, but he did say that when they showed the match, because that match between Steamboat and Flair was at some pay-per-view. I think it was either Clash of the Champions. It was in Chicago. It was at the UIC Pavilion in Chicago. And I remember Chicago and Atlanta, when it came to high shows, was WCW's two biggest territories. They're at the Omni in Atlanta a lot, and they were at the UIC Pavilion in Chicago a lot. And I used to, obviously, because I, used to live in the Chicagoland area, we would go to the shows at the Pavilion. Those shows were great. There were some really good WCW shows. Phil said, it is raining heavily in Tampa right now. Stage, ramp, and ringside are tarped. That's what I thought. So let's see what happens. But hopefully, Mania will go through. Steve Austin threw the title in the river. Rock threw the Smoking Skull belt in the river a year later. Maybe that's what it was. I think you're right. But yeah, man, WrestleMania is going to be nice tonight. If it happens, but it should be decent. And thank God they're making it a 2-night event. Triple H did say that he went to Vince and said, hey, maybe we should do this because this is actually a great idea. And I think Triple H is right. I mean, hell, how many people you think watched TakeOver the last couple of days? People love NXT so much that if it was a 5-hour show, no one would really tweak, but it was still successful. They put the title back on Karrion Kross. So now that question becomes, what do they do with Finn? They let Finn and Adam Cole go at it a little bit. Are you going to call Adam Cole up here soon? Are you going to bring Finn back up here soon? It's funny. Finn becomes Universal Champ, gets his shoulder separated by Seth Rollins on that buckle bomb or whatever, and they just never gave him the glory back. And I don't understand why. I don't understand why you wouldn't at least try to get Finn. If he was good enough to be Universal Champion, when you gave him the opportunity, I think it'd be okay to put it back on him and let him run with it and see if you can catch the glory again, not just forget about him and then send him down to NXT to really be a almost like a stepping stone to Karrion Kross getting his title back. It's hard. Takeover never disappoints. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. It doesn't at all. It doesn't. It doesn't. No, I'm with you on that. Dude, we've been on here for a whole hour, guys. Been talking for a whole hour. I feel like I've only been up here for 30 minutes. Hell flipping right, guys. We can talk more wrestling as time goes on. I do want to get into some other sports, while we still have some time left. I know you guys have noticed, I got into this big argument with somebody in a group because there has been a lot of talk about what's going on with the NFL as of late, maybe specifically with the draft. First off, we saw that Sam Darnold got traded from the Jets to the Carolina Panthers for like a plethora of picks. So it sounds like the Jets want Zach Wilson at number 2. And then where the argument came was surrounding Justin Fields. Now, the consensus right now is the reason why the San Francisco 49ers traded up to get to number 3 was because they wanted Justin Fields. And they didn't think Justin Fields was going to be at 12 where they were at previously. So I was a little skeptical. I'm always skeptical when it comes to Ohio State quarterbacks because they haven't worked out in the NFL. And this guy comes to me and he's like, well, that's why you're supposed to judge the player and not the helmet. And my argument was, okay, I get that. I respect that. And I think that what you're saying is legit. My only issue is, all I'm saying is not even an issue. What I'm saying is, if an NFL scout looked at Justin Fields and said, okay, all right, this guy's 6'5", he's got a decent arm. What college did he come to? Oh, he went to Ohio State. Ooh, okay. I wouldn't be shocked if a scout was like that. When you look at the report, you say he's got the intangibles, he can throw the ball, he can read an offense, or he can read a defense, he can do this and that. He went to Ohio State. They might be a little leery about that because let me think about it. Cardell Jones wasn't that good. Dwayne Haskins got cut after 2 years. Troy Smith won the Heisman and wasn't squat in Baltimore. As a matter of fact, what Kyler Murray is now is what Troy Smith was supposed to be when he was in Baltimore and never panned out. Let's be real about that for a second. What Kyler Murray is now is what, not Troy Brown, Troy Smith, is what Troy Smith was supposed to be when Troy Smith was the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. Remember, Troy Smith had an arm as good, if not stronger, than Kyler Murray's arm. He just never panned out in Baltimore. But you had him and everyone, and I always bring up the name Craig Krenzel, and they're like, oh my God, Craig Krenzel lost only 2 games at Ohio State, if that, and had himself a starting job with the of all teams, the Chicago Bears, as a starting quarterback. I'm not saying Justin Fields won't be good. I'm just saying that I would be a little bit careful knowing that the systems that are run in Ohio State don't necessarily translate success in the NFL because they don't really now, unless the San Francisco 49ers are going to start running that college-like offense. Because remember, Kyle Shanahan, first of all, all this crapping on Jimmy Garoppolo, in my opinion, I think is foolish. San Francisco dude, I understand Jimmy Garoppolo's pain because I feel it's this way with Tampa Bay. If we go back to the first Super Bowl, no one gives Brad Johnson any credit that he was the quarterback of a team that won the Super Bowl that year. Only the defense and Mike Allstott from outside casual fans gives that team defense. No one gives Rex Grossman any type of love for forever getting the Chicago Bears to the Super Bowl where they lost to the Indianapolis Colts. What people don't talk about in that is that the only year that Rex Grossman started all 16 games in the season is the only year the Chicago Bears went to the Super Bowl. People always say that defense wins championships, but you still have to have a quarterback that can somewhat manage the game. You're trying to tell me that within a year that you're already ready to give up on Jimmy Garoppolo? Okay, Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't healthy last year, but Kyle Shanahan's offensive flow has always been running the football. So why would you want to trade up so many spots to get a quarterback when you have a Jimmy Garoppolo that can do that? If Jimmy stays healthy, because think about it. The 49ers are going to chalk up last year to injuries. That's fine. But if you're going to talk about some of the other times that San Francisco has been in the Super Bowl over the last, 8 or 9 years, bro, at the end of the day, the reason why the San Francisco 49ers were even in those situations was because they had a quarterback, that were manageable enough for the game. You know what I'm saying? So I just think Jimmy Garoppolo is totally getting deuced on. Darnell says Jimmy J can't stay healthy. It's the problem going back to New England. I guess. If health is the issue, fine. But people are talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. He can't throw. He can't do this. He can't do that. He blah, blah, blah. Yak, yak, yak. And I'm just like, look, if you guys are really that hard-pressed to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, call Tampa Bay. We'll take him off your hands in a heartbeat. Have Jimmy go right back behind Tom Brady. You think Jimmy G's going to trip? Please. Please. I don't know, man. I'm anxious to see what's going to happen. And unless the Jets know something I don't, I think Carolina really came up on that trade. First of all, I think Sam Darnold is a good quarterback, and I think he got an unfair shake in New York. But I understand the game. I understand how it works. New guy, new system. I want my quarterback, not their quarterback. Blah, blah, blah. Fine, whatever. Do whatever it is you want to do. But I still think Sam Darnold is a fine, really good quarterback in the NFL. Now, is Carolina the place to go? Maybe not. But it's a fresh start, and I think Sam Darnold's going to do just fine. And that leads me to what was going to be my next point as I say that part is, remember on this show when I used to tell everybody that what's his name was fool's gold? I remember when I said that to everybody, that Teddy Bridgewater was not the quarterback that everyone was trying to pay him out to be. And in 1 year, the Carolina Panthers have found a new quarterback. Darnell, so it's health reasons why they are keeping him, because when healthy, Jimmy G can get the job done. But at the same time, too, though, if you're not trading up to number 3 for a wide receiver, are you? That's why, and there's been rumors that Mac Jones has been in the conversation at 3 for the San Francisco 49ers. But I think that would be dumb. I think Justin Fields, because if Kyle Shanahan, who loves to run the ball, wants to run that kind of offense in the NFL, then Justin Fields makes the most sense. But if you're trying to run a pro style like offense, I'm not Jimmy G, Justin Fields. But if you're trying to run a pro style like offense, I think Jimmy G is the guy. And then you traded up to number 3 to get what? A star wide receiver. I don't think you trade up or a stud defensive guy. I don't know, man. I saw one where Bucky Brooks had Mac Jones falling all the way down to 32 to Tampa Bay. I definitely don't see that happening because I don't see him getting past. If Mac Jones was sitting there at 20 for the Chicago Bears, how do you not take him? Darnell said people are overlooking Kyle Trask from Florida. I think people outside of Gator fans are doing that, most definitely. Because every time Kyle Trask names come up, it like one guy will say how good. One guy will say how good they think that Kyle Trask can really be. And then you get four guys who maybe not be Gator fans. Like, oh, he sucks. He's terrible. He's this, that, and everything else. I think Kyle Trask is going to be really good. Do I think Kyle Trask is a day one starter? No. Do I think Kyle Trask will be good with a little bit of seasoning and staying behind the bench, behind a veteran? Excuse me, Pittsburgh Steelers. Excuse me, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Excuse me, who's got another team? It's got an old quarterback. Maybe the Las Vegas Raiders. Do I say Las Vegas? I know they just re-upped on Derek Carr, but that relationship to me is weird because I just don't buy what's his name? I just don't buy Derek Carr staying in Vegas very much longer. I really don't. I'm with you, Darnell. I think people are overlooking Kyle Trask. But once again, I take him at 32 for Tampa and let him sit behind Brady. Think about it like this. I would say Tom Brady maybe has this year and next year. I think this year he tries to repeat the championship. I think next year he goes on his farewell tour. That's why I think that you ever notice how Todd Bowles, everyone's like, oh man, Todd Bowles would be a great head coach in the NFL again. Yeah, for the Bucs. I really think that's what's happening. I truly 100% honestly believe that Bruce Arians will retire when Tom Brady retires. Once that happens, I think Todd Bowles takes over, and I think Byron Leftwich stays on and gets a huge pay raise to be offensive coordinator for the Bucs. I think that happens. I really do. So we'll see what happens, man. This draft, this first round draft is going to be really good. It's going to be really good. There's a lot of talent coming up. I think next week when Mack comes back, maybe we'll get him and Christian on, and then we'll get into the NFL draft. We'll get into that. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah. So I don't know, man. The Jets look like they're going to get a quarterback. I thought they could have went wide receiver. They still need playmakers. I thought they could have traded back and maybe got you a wide receiver or so, but they traded Sam Darnold and the Jets first 3 rounds of the draft for the next couple of years are solid. I think they have like seven picks in the first rounds over the next couple of years. So we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely anxious. I'm draft ready because usually around this time, I'm asking myself, I wonder what the Bucs are going to get with a top pick, that can make an immediate impact. Now I'm asking, I'm wondering who's going to be there for us at number 32, or where do we go from here? When you bring back all your starters, you have to ask the question, like, where do you go from here? Yeah, no, Miami is ridiculous. Miami, if the Miami Dolphins, if all their picks pan out, man, I'm gonna tell you, not just the AFC East, but the AFC in general is gonna be in trouble. At least they'll be battling with Kansas City for a while. Because Kansas City is still the cream of the crop in the AFC. They are. And believe it or not, they can still get better. They're about a couple of decent defensive pieces away from really getting better. But I'm with you, Darnell. Not like Miami. I want to get into a little NBA real quick. We know that the season's coming along. The Knicks beat the Grizzlies last night. And I saw that the Bulls went ham on, or not the Bulls, but Zach LaVine went in yesterday. I think he dropped. I got it sitting right here. I know he had a huge game last night, and they still took the L, which is crazy. They'd be fine again. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, they lost to the Hawks. Here we go. Yeah, dude. Zach LaVine dropped 50 on the Hawks yesterday, and they still found a way to lose. Look at that. Yeah, they still found a way to lose. 50 points. But you know, that's the growing pains that comes with the NBA, though. You know what I'm saying? That's the growing pains that come with the NBA. It really is. That's the growing pains that comes with it. At the end of the day, you know, I mean, the Bulls are a young team, they're up and coming team. They're very similar to the Knicks, a team that needs they're a team that needs a point guard. They really do. I think the Knicks really need a point guard. I really think the Knicks need a point guard. And I think if the Bulls find one, if the Knicks find one, you know, they'll go to new heights. And I saw that Lonzo Ball came back from injury, and I think he's playing really well. So, you know, right now, you know, I still think when healthy, the Lakers are still the team to beat, though. You know, I noticed that Miami caught a little bit of fire as of late, especially with them, you know, trading and acquiring Victor Oladipo. And like, again, that's a guy I thought like the Knicks could have really used. You know, I mean, think about it. You know, if you look at that game last night, you know, it was Emmanuel Quickly that was, first of all, can we please end the Elfrid Payton? Can we end that, please? Can we end that experiment? It's not working, dude. Dude, Elfrid Payton misses so many wide open layups. It drives me nuts. Elfrid Payton struggled so bad in that game that Tom Thibodeau had to go against Tom Thibodeau, and IQ and Derrick Rose was in that game. Well, IQ was in that game late. And you know how much that Tom Thibodeau doesn't like playing rookies. That's how much Tom Thibodeau don't like playing rookies. So much so they had to leave Emmanuel Quickly in the game during the stretch after coming back. And I'm going to tell you what, though. People laughed at me about my thoughts on RJ Barrett. But if RJ Barrett gets a more consistent shot, he could be the guy, the shooter that I'm asking for that I feel like the Knicks need. You ever watch the movie The Replacements? What did Gene Hackman tell Shane Falco or Keanu Reeves in that movie? He said, winners want the ball. Over the last handful of games, it has been RJ Barrett trying to take that game-winning shot. He's made some, and he's missed some. He made one last night against Memphis, but I know he missed a game-tying shot against who did we lose before Memphis? The Nets. I think it was Brooklyn. It was a game against Brooklyn they had. We lost to Boston before after that, but it was a game against Brooklyn. Had a chance to tie the game and missed the shot. But how much confidence do you, as Tom Thibodeau, have in RJ Barrett that when the time comes up again, he says, Coach, I want the ball, and you give it to him, and you let him go down the court and drive in and get a game-winning layup that leads into a huge win that the Knicks needed. RJ Barrett is a stud. And now you're seeing, because a lot of people were saying, once you got past Zion and once you got past John Morant, it's a huge drop off. And, but remember, there was a lot of people thinking that RJ Barrett, not Zion Williamson, was actually a better player on Duke. Think about it like that. People were saying that Zion was the better star. That Zion would be the better star. It had the bigger star potential of the three. But they said, remember, people were saying that RJ Barrett was actually the best player on Duke. Cam Reddish may have had the higher ceiling of both. Zion might be the bigger star, but RJ was supposed to be the complete guy. And I think when he came into the NBA last year, I'm not saying he didn't take it seriously, but I don't think he realized how different the pro game and the college game is. But now that you have a real coach that's preaching defensive tactics, and you've won more games this year than you did all of last year, RJ Barrett's now getting that confidence. And you're starting to notice that he's starting to step into threes better. His 3-point percentage is much better. His confidence is getting better. He's getting better at finishing at the hoop. RJ Barrett is becoming that star we needed. And when I say that stuff, it's why it pisses me off that it didn't work out with KP. Because if you're telling me that I could have had a starting lineup that could have potentially had maybe KP, maybe Julius, maybe RJ, maybe Reggie Bullock, maybe Derrick Rose or something, that's not a bad formidable starting five. And then think about it. They're scoring all the way to go around. You have Julius that can score the basketball. You have KP that can score the basketball. And then you have RJ Barrett coming up on his own. Come on, man. That'd have been amazing. You think about it, Julius has more meat and muscle. So that would even allow KP to continue to be the big five with the jump shot. Man, that would have been great, but it just didn't work out. But I still believe, I think, when you looked at the trade deadline, a couple of weeks ago, I thought the team that made maybe the single best move and could work out for him is Rajon Rondo going to the Los Angeles Clippers. You bring that veteran presence in there like that, a guy with championship pedigree, a man that just came off of winning a NBA championship, has about 3 of those in his pocket? Please, come on, dude. That would have been money in the bank. That's money in the bank. So if it works out, the Clippers can be a tough out. I mean, obviously Utah is really good. Denver's really good. So, we're starting to get to that stretch. And I feel the same way with the NHL. The NHL's trade deadline is coming up here pretty soon. And I'm anxious to see what moves are going down. Because I don't think Jack Eichel, who I thought was kind of the cream of the crop of who's going where and who's going where and whatnot. I just think that I honestly think that my fault. I just lost my train of thought again. I'm sorry. I'm doing if you guys know me, I'm not good at doing 2 things at once. So sometimes when I see certain things and I'm talking, it just comes out. It just blows out of my head. But yeah, no, the Clippers, dude. Clippers, Utah, Denver, still good. So we'll see. Once the Lakers get healthy, I'm still trying to see how LeBron, I think what I just explained about what could have been if we had KP, Julius, and RJ is what I'm picturing with LeBron, AD, and Andre Drummond. Andre's the big guy that grabs the rebounds, which means Anthony can now be the perimeter guy, and LeBron James can continue to be the greatest basketball player that's walking on God's green earth that still wears a jersey. When those 3 come together healthy, it could be a whole wrap. The only thing that I ask about the Lakers is guard play, is guard depth. Like, no offense to LA, but I don't think that they can, in this season, keep winning games with KCP going broke and some of these other guys going broke. So that's the only question I have. Other than that, though, dude, I'm all in. I'm all in on thinking that the Lakers are can make some serious noise. I don't see why not. But even the NHL race right now is going. It's really going well. I like the NHL race. Rangers beat. They beat who they play? Oh, they beat the Islanders yesterday, and that's a team that the Rangers notoriously have been struggling against over the last couple of years, and they beat them pretty soundly last night. So hopefully the Rangers can catch fire. The team is there. It's just about putting it all together. It's all you got to do is just try and put it together. You know what I'm saying? So, damn, dude, I've really been sitting there talking for an hour and a half. But I'm definitely now I know I was just told that it is raining in Tampa. That's what Phil told me, that it is raining in Tampa. And what time is this WrestleMania supposed to kick off? 7 Eastern, 6 Central? Because that's probably when I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop around 6. Because I don't wanna clash with WrestleMania. I'm gonna go watch it myself here pretty soon. I might try to DoorDash drive and watch the at WrestleMania at the same time. It can be done. It can be done. But you know what? Here I'll say this. I will not completely crap on the WWE being on Peacock until I browse the entire thing. Because I've seen on this Peacock app that there has been some really good, like the WWE is always having that original programming. I just thought with the network, it was so hard to find. When I went through it, just kind of breezing through it earlier, bro, they got old episodes of WCW Saturday Night. You kidding me? WCW Saturday Night used to be the absolute bee's knees back in the day. It was like Saturday, WCW Saturday Night was, if that 2 hours had like 7 matches, 5 of them were squash matches, 2 of them were legit matches, and then they were just promo city left and right. But think about it. That's when a lot of these guys really started getting their names out there. Sting. Remember when Arn Anderson was with Colonel Parker, and he had the television championship for I don't know how long until he lost to the Renegade. Remember those days? Remember when it's just been so many good Saturday nights. Like back in the day, it used to just be a regular house show. And then when they started really putting it on TBS, they really like made a backdrop of it and everything. So, I mean, I'm going to browse the library in order to kind of see, to see where it's at. So I won't crap on it all the way. But yeah, I'll be on here for another 22 minutes or so, just sitting here and talking. So far we kind of busted into the baseball season. Talked some Yankees. I've been watching the Mets as of late. I saw that game unfold against the Marlins, the whole Michael Conforto thing. Umpires admitted they missed it, that the home plate umpire admitted he missed the call. Conforto should have been out, whatever. I mentioned today, Jacob deGrom, I think, had himself a hell of a game today, and they still took the L. Let me take a look and see. I did just have it up here. I usually have my score app ready to rock and roll. Yeah, the Marlins ended up beating 3-0. So Jacob deGrom's line today was 8 innings pitched, 5 hits. He gave a 1 earned run, which I think was a home run, and struck out 14, and still took the L today. And that's going to happen, dude. Right now, yeah, because people were like, oh, what's spring training for? What's spring training for? What's spring training for? And I'm I'm thinking to myself, you know, spring training is really to help guys out who are trying to make the team and maybe get, you know, some of these guys up to speed. But think about it. Spring training baseball really isn't, in my opinion, game action baseball. It's not. It's for guys trying to get that 24th, 25th, 26th spot. That's what it is. So, you know, ultimately, you know, at the end of the day, man, to see some offenses right now struggle, now would be the best time to get your no hitters out of the way. That's why you saw Musgrove last night. Just get them out of the way. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so Mack will be back next week. He had some work things to do. Remember, I promised everybody that I was going to change the banner, and here it is. Got the Yankee banner up now. Got the WWE title. Let me see which hand. Maybe this one. I got the WWE title right here over my right shoulder. Looking forward to WrestleMania tonight, seeing how that all goes down. And, you know, to be honest with you, a lot on my mind has been wrestling. But at the same time, man, you know, we talk a lot of sports on the show, but I'm telling you, man, I've been playing a lot of video games as of late. I've been playing a lot of God of War as of late. You know, I haven't touched my PS4 in a long time, but I've been wanting to buy one. So, you know, I took some money and it was on sale. So I went ahead and bought it, and I haven't regretted it. It's a really good game. It's a really good video game. Like, they went all out. Like, the previous Gods of War were really, they were really just straight through games. Like, every once in a while, you would have to solve a puzzle here and there, but they were really just straight through games. This game eerily has that same feel like The Last of Us did, because that needs to be next on my list. I need to flip The Last of Us 2. I flipped the first Last of Us. It's arguably one of the greatest video games that I've ever played. I've been told that Borderlands is another good one, and I think I need to catch up on Borderlands. So I got a lot of catching up that I need to do. But I've been playing a lot of God of War as late, you know, getting my hands back on the feel of the PS4 controller. I know the PS5 and stuff is out, but I'm going to wait a little bit. You know, I used to be that guy that bought the system as soon as they came out. But, you know, back in the day, being able to buy a $200 system seemed a little bit more affordable than the $600-700 for PS5s and Xbox X's and whatever these things are called nowadays. Will said something earlier when he said that he thought that that I should buy MLB 20, because MLB 20 and 21 are kind of really different than what we got right now. Okay, if I can find a cheap 20, maybe I'll go online, maybe get MLB 20 for like $10. I'll buy it. I got $10. I'll buy it, try it, you know, see what I can do. But I'll test it out. Matter of fact, I still kind of want NHL. That NHL 21 to me looks so good. It looks really good. And like some of these games that I'm buying now, you can get the same game on PS5 as well. Because another game that I'm trying to flip on my PS4 is Infamous. I flipped the first two. They made a second one or a third one where like the main character was a vampire. I downloaded it, played it for a few minutes. I didn't like it. But I guess they brought up another one for the PlayStation 4. I have that one downloaded on my PlayStation 4. So I'm going to play that one as soon as I'm done flipping this God of War. I feel like I'm 1 week away. Like I really want to beat this game. But when I want to beat it, I want to beat it into completion. So when I go to all these different realms and I do all these little different things, at the end of the day, I want it to be over with. I don't want to flip it and then be like, oh, you can go back and do this, this, and this, because then at that point, it takes away from the plot. Because if I'm building up all my axes and if I'm building up my strength, I just don't want to do it just to beat regular guys. I want to do it till I can beat the boss and it won't be as hard. Like before I even came onto the show, I was playing it and I finally found the last thing to get my maximum rage. So I feel like now I'm at maximum health. I'm at maximum rage. What I will tell you though, is that I feel like the maximum health in God of War in this one is a whole lot less than they were in the previous ones. And it's so funny because I was playing and my girlfriend came out and was sitting me when I was playing, and I tried to give her the brief rundown on 3 God of Wars. Now, I don't think I did such a great job, only because, again, I can't do 2 things at once. So I was trying to play and explain to her, like, who Atreus is, who Kratos is, how we got to this point. We all know the story of God of War. Kratos is the son of Zeus. Was a soldier of Ares. Ares turned his back on Kratos, so Kratos challenged Ares, kills Ares to be the god of war. And then when he started becoming out of control, the gods exiled him from the circle. So he joined up with the Titans, and because the Titans and the gods don't get along, so then Kratos joins up with the Titans to try to go after the gods, and then realizes that he was just a pawn, and the Titans agreed that they had just been playing him to try and get him to the gods. So then he ends up killing the Titans. And then in God of War 3, he goes after everyone, kills Poseidon, killed Hades, killed Hermes, killed Hercules, ultimately killed Zeus, and then bangs Aphrodite. Don't forget that part. And then once he killed Zeus and exiled himself as a god and then pulled the blades of chaos out of his life, he meets a woman. They breed of Atreus. Atreus never knows that Kratos is a god, but maybe he will, maybe he won't know that in the game. But that's how we get to this point. And I didn't do such a great job of explaining that to her because I was trying to play the game and do it, and you know which one got more focus. Once my eyes are locked on to the 2 edges of that TV, it's a borderline wrap. So that's what I've been playing. But nah, I'm gonna get the show 20. If it's cheap, I'll get it and play it, and then maybe I won't get it when it first comes out, but maybe like a month or so down the line, I'll get MLB 21. The show 21. I see that RBI Baseball keeps coming out with games. I feel like RBI Baseball to me is a game where if you and your buddies are getting drunk, if you and your boys are getting drunk and you're like, hey man, play some RBI Baseball. You got to take a sip for every strikeout. Okay, bet. And it's just a quick simulation game. It doesn't have to be real. You're not playing from bunny or anything. Just trying to get smoked. And that's what RBI Baseball is to me. If you strike out, you got to chug or take a sip on strikeouts. The other person has to... Dude, RBI Baseball to me is a drinking game waiting to happen. You have to drink on strikeouts. If you pitch the ball and the batter gets a hit, the pitcher has to take a drink. Drinks on outs. And the amount of drinks is based on, like, let's say if you give up a grand slam, you should have to drink 2 beers in a shot. You have to chug 2 beers in a shot. So home runs, chug full beers. Triples are 3 drinks, or like three good sips of beer. 2 beers on doubles, a sip of beer on strikeouts, a sip of beer on singles, sip of beer on strikeouts, sip of beer on walks. And then if you give up a 2-run home run, like maybe that's a shot. If you give up a solo home run, okay, so look at it like this. A solo home run is a full beer. 2-run home run is a shot. A 3-run home run is a shot in the beer that you have to chug. And if you give up a grand slam, how about 2 beers and 2 shots? Patent pending. Don't steal my idea. Patent pending is officially patent pending. And if I see this coming out, I will sue. Tell me that wouldn't be a hot drinking game on just a regular simulation video game in RBI baseball. I'm not saying it sucks. I haven't really played it. But that's what that really comes off as. It really comes off as, me and my boy, hey man, let's fire up the RBI drinking rules. Drinking rules. You got yourself a whole 24 rack of brew just waiting to down. How can you say no to that? Like, seriously, how can you say no to that? Again, guys, I want to thank everyone that was. As a matter of fact, here it is, breaking news right now. The Yankees have just optioned Domingo Germán to the alternate site. So we didn't even wait a whole month for it. The Yankees saw what they needed to see, realized that Domingo Germán in back-to-back starts does not have the confidence, doesn't have the juice, doesn't have the pitches. It's time for him to go down and get worked on. And who do you bring up? You should bring up Michael King. I'm going to see who they're going to bring up, but you should bring up Michael King. It doesn't say who they're bringing up, but they're saying that the final rotation spot could go to either Jonathan Loaisiga or it could go to Luis Cessa. I'm not a huge fan of Luis Cessa, but he has been pitching really well over the last. I think he pitched really well last year, and he's done a pretty good job so far this year. I feel like Luis Cessa used to always be that guy that was just mop-up duty, and every time they brought him in, he just never got it done. I'm like, Luis Cessa's ERA is 6. Why do we keep bringing him in? I would actually like to see Jonathan Loaisiga. I feel like Jonathan Loaisiga is a guy that the Yankees just don't want to give up on. They just don't know where to put him. I thought Jonathan Loaisiga personally could have been what Dellin Betances is, but I think the difference between the two is that you could teach Jonathan Loaisiga how to be a starting pitcher. I don't think you could teach Dellin Betances that. I think he was suited better as an 8th inning guy. 8th inning guy has a tremendous fastball, has some good breaking stuff. It's just his location sucks so bad sometimes. Like he'll overthrow his fastball, so it's always outside, and then when he throws the breaking ball, it's right down the middle of the plate, and everyone's eyes just widen right up, and then bang, there you go, it's gone. So. But yeah, dude, I mean, again, we're only 2 weeks into the season. So all this crying about who's doing what, like who's getting fired, who's this and that. I mean, that at this point, that's the only thing that's worth really being talked about is really the only thing really getting talked about is Domingo Germán really going down, and as he should. And I think the Yankees are doing a really good job right now they're doing a good job as noticing that there was a problem and noticing that there are other guys that could take that spot. Don't forget, you still got Davy Garcia that's still, in AAA or alternate site or whatever they're calling it. He's still down there. Maybe Domingo Germán, in my opinion, maybe Domingo is a guy that could really benefit from another team. I'm not saying he sucks, but sometimes with everything that went on with Domingo, and then at the same time with some of his own teammates not really backing him up per se, with everything that happened, I just don't feel. I feel like maybe a change of scenery would do him good. That's what I feel. But yeah, Domingo Germán has just been sent down to the minors. I'm looking at some of my comments. I got a friend coming out. He's put up a picture of the Fiend. Yeah, dude, that matchup's gonna be good. Again, like I said earlier, just being able to build up the storyline. That's the way to go. Don't give me a storyline that's why I got so mad about the Miz losing his title 2 weeks after Fastlane, after he just cashed in his Money in the Bank championship. You make him drop the title. It just doesn't make sense. Once again, for some reason I'm missing some of you guys' comments, and I apologize for that. Darnell, so the real talk is Boston, and what the hell's going on? It's so funny because with the Boston Celtics, though, with Boston, what kills me about Boston is the fans would tell you, oh man, we need like wing depth. We need wing depth. Like, we don't need a center. We need wing depth. Everybody else that watches the Boston Celtics that may not be within the Boston Celtics fandom is saying, no, you guys need a center. They had Andre Drummond out there, and I feel like they weren't aggressive enough to go get him. They weren't aggressive enough to go get him. They don't have size. They have just a lot of athletic guys, but they don't have size. Nowhere do they have size. So meanwhile, you got guys like Jaylen Brown, who I didn't really think was going to be as good as he is now, but he's really flipping good. And Jason Tatum speaks for himself. That I've always thought he was going to be a monster. You bring those two guys in. Come on, man. You would have thought that somehow Boston wouldn't be in this position, but they are. Unfortunately, they are. They are. And, maybe do they need to change the scenery from Stevens, from Brad Stevens? Is that the way to go? Who knows? Who knows? But I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Darnell says Broken Skull Sessions is a must. Yeah, dude. I watched the first couple of ones. I really want to get I really want to get caught up on a lot of those because it's a WWE legend talking to the guys that we grew up on. You know what I'm saying? So when you got Goldberg in there, and I saw the first one with The Undertaker, and I thought that one was awesome. Listening to The Undertaker, like it's funny to me because we all know that The Undertaker's real name is Mark Calloway. We know that Triple H's real name is Paul Levesque, and we know I know Shawn Michaels. I don't think that's his real name. I think it's Higginbottom or something like that. I will never call these guys by their real name. The Rock may Hollywood-wise go by Dwayne Johnson. Until the day I die, I will forever call him The Rock because that's what I loved him as. I loved him as Rock. I'm not saying I don't love him as Dwayne Johnson, but that's what I knew him as. Like, okay, I'll give you a prime example. Okay, I have one of my really good best friends who is like a brother to me. His name is Robert. Everybody calls him Robert. Since I was young, I've always called him Bob, and I don't call him anything else. Like, it's hard for me to make that transition. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. That's just like, okay, I've lost a few pounds here and there. But if people came to me, like, let's say if I lost a lot of weight and people would still come to me and call me Big Nick, I would still answer to that because you just don't stop saying it. once it rolls off your tongue, once it's programmed in your brain, you just can't stop doing it. You know what I'm saying? So when I address Triple H, I always address Triple H as Triple H. Or every once in a while, I'll drop a 100 line. And I bet you any money in the world, Triple H responds to such stuff. He doesn't, like, if you go out in the crowd, they'd be like, yo, hey, Paul, how much you think that Triple H not going to turn around? But if you're like, oh my God, it's Triple H, hey, please, there's no way he's not going to say hi. As a matter of fact, I'm on record of saying that if God of War was ever a movie, is there not a better guy to play Kratos than Paul Triple H Levesque? You kidding me? I'm the same guy who sat here and swore up and down that I think with John Cena, the way that his hair is now, would make a great Superman. I think John Cena would be a great Superman / Clark Kent. He's got the muscle. He's got the look. He's got the hair. We all know John Cena's really not that bad of an actor. So why not put him as Superman? I would. If I put down so much money to make a Superman movie, John Cena would be my Superman. I would ask John Cena first to be my Superman. All my eggs would be in the John Cena should be Superman basket. And if he told me no, the movie from then on out would probably pretty much suck, because then at that point, I would just be like, man, I don't really have another Superman. I would do the same thing if I wanted to make, if I put down X amount of money and really wanted to make a God of War movie, I would ask Triple H, would he be my Kratos? I would put all my eggs in the, I want Triple H to be Kratos. Triple H has the beard. Now that Triple H is gone, remember, he was long hair, no beard. Or first he was long hair, no beard. Then he was long haired with the chin strap. Then became long hair, beard. And then when he retired, he shaved off all the hair. So now he's just pure bald and beard. And every time I look at Kratos when I play God of War, I think of Triple H easily. Ain't no way. You can't tell me nothing that Kratos wouldn't make a good Triple H. Man. I have about 6 minutes left before I end the show. We go watch WrestleMania because I think everyone is left. Again, I just want to say thank you guys so much for this. I'm not going to lie to you. I had a lot of wrestling notes. I didn't know I was going to go like a whole hour on breaking all of them out, but I am so glad you guys were here to talk to me about wrestling. Matter of fact, I'm not going to sit here and lie to everybody. I was kind of nervous because not a lot of people watch wrestling, even with it being WrestleMania. There's still not a lot of people that watch wrestling. And I felt that if I started watching wrestling on this show, talking wrestling, that everyone, oh my God, I don't. Dude, you guys were really there with me to talk wrestling, and I appreciate every last one of you guys. I love all you guys. And if there's one thing that I ask you is whenever you listen to this stuff, whether it be here on Facebook, whether it be on YouTube, you can search us up on we're on the PodRiver network. Just search up PodRiver. You'll see all of our YouTube episodes there. We're on Spotify. We're on iTunes. So if you guys want to just, I'm not the kind of guy that tweaks about live numbers because everyone has a life. But when people message me and be like, hey, yo, man, I always get your podcast like a couple days after it comes out. I listen to it when I work, or I listen to it when I work out, or whatever the case may be. That means a lot to me, man. Because think about it, of like all the things that people could do on their busy life, they would take the time to say, hey, man, I'm listening to your I'm listening to your show when I'm just doing random stuff around the house. That means a lot. Okay. I just got some breaking news on my phone. According to ESPN, A-Rod and billionaire Mark Lore are finalizing a deal to purchase the Minnesota Timberwolves and will take full control in 2023. Wow. So remember, A-Rod and J-Lo tried to buy the Mets. It didn't work out. They ended up going to Steve Cohen. But I guess A-Rod was not, not ready to not take over a sports squad. I thought he was going to stick with baseball. He just taking over a team in general. And it looks like it's going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves. So interesting there. So breaking news from ESPN, A-Rod to buy the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he and billionaire Mark Lore will take over the Timberwolves in 2023. Yeah, man. So as I was saying, I just think everyone that does listens to the show, you guys are the reasons why Mack and Steve and myself get up on Saturdays, and we do this show, and we know that Saturday nights is usually what they say, Friday nights for the boys or Saturdays for the boys, or I don't know, something stupid. But if you're not doing anything before you come out, you check out the show. Love it. If you're out and about working and you check out the show, we love that too. If you're working out, you're listening to it, we love that too. If it's in your car, we love that too. Mac and I are very passionate sports fans. We have been for so many years. Since I met the guy back in Illinois Center for Broadcasting. And Steve has always been a great producer. So the three of us we really put a lot into it. So just keep sharing the show and keep listening to it, and leave us comments and reviews and stuff that we can do to get better, and stuff that you love and you don't like, and we'll make adjustments. We listen to our fans and we love our fans, and and again, I could not have felt blessed of you guys staying with me during that wrestling segment. And maybe I'll start bringing in wrestling a little bit more now that I know that there's a lot of people that do listen to this. Maybe I can start incorporating wrestling a little bit more into the show. So we'll try and do that. But it is officially 6:07. We have, I don't know, we're getting around that last bit. So again, I just want to say thanks to everybody that listened. Max should be back next week. I'm gonna try and get Christian to come on so that we can really break down this NFL draft, because that's coming up here soon. And I'm pretty sure that the moves won't be stopping. If I'm not mistaken, the pro days I think either happened, or not the pro days, but the combine happened or is about to happen. So we'll break all that stuff down, and I definitely want to get into that. So for Mac, he'll be back next week. For Steve, thank you as always, Steve, for everything that you do. I am also Negro. Enjoy WrestleMania. I may be on the WrestleMania preview night 2 show tomorrow. I'll share that out. So if you guys want to come and join us on that, please do. So I'll see you then. You guys go out there, enjoy WrestleMania, enjoy the show. I'm about to go enjoy it myself, and we'll talk later. So again, for Steve, for Mac, I'm also Negro, saying peace, and we'll see you next week.